First contact, a mission of peace. The stars were quiet, and the galaxy seemed calm. The alien diplomatic ship Valarian Dawn floated peacefully toward Sector 9 Delta, a region on the edge of the Orion Arm. It was the same place where a strange signal had been detected, an old signal, but powerful. The Galactic Unity Council had sent a small, peaceful crew to investigate. Their goal was simple: make first contact with the humans. Commander Rishul stood at the front of the bridge. His green-blue skin shimmered under the soft lights. His eyes stared ahead at the holographic map. Distance to source? He asked. 3 million units, Commander, replied his navigation officer. Will arrive in less than a cycle. Rishul nodded. They had heard of humans primitive, emotional, and violent in their history. But they had also been quiet for over 100 years. Some believed they had destroyed themselves. Others thought they had chosen isolation. Either way, it was time to find out. This is a peaceful mission, Rishul reminded his crew. No weapons charged, no threats made. We come with open hands. The crew nodded. Their ship, though advanced, was unarmed. It was built for communication, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. Not war. As they entered the sector, the signal became stronger, but something was wrong. Commander, said the science officer, I'm picking up a structure. No, a vessel. Massive in size. How massive? The officer turned pale. Over 20 kilometers long. Rishul walked over to the screen. The object slowly appeared in view. It wasn't a space station. It had engines. It had armor. It had weapons, big ones. A warship? Rishul whispered. The science officer nodded slowly. Titan class. At least. The bridge fell silent. Nobody spoke for several seconds. A Titan-class ship hadn't been seen in over 500 years. Even the Unity Council didn't build ships that size anymore. They were not meant for defense. They were made for destruction. But that's human design, whispered Rishul. Primitive metal hull, reinforced layers, no energy shield, and yet it's still online. The ship floated silently in space. No movement. No signs of life. But it didn't feel dead. It felt like it was watching. Open hailing frequencies. Rishul ordered. The comms officer tried once, twice, 3 times. No reply. We're being scanned, the science officer suddenly said. By the Titan? Rishul turned sharply. Shields. Up, wait, no. Hold. We're here for peace. But deep inside, his instincts screamed. Then the lights on the Titan ship blinked. One row of red lights lit up, then another. A low hum filled the space around them. It's powering up, said the engineer. Commander, I think it's waking up. Panic started to grow on the faces of the crew. But Rishul held firm. Maybe it's automatic, he said. Old tech, no need to panic. Yet the fear in the room grew heavy. Then a deep voice came through the comms. This is Warship Argos. State your purpose. It wasn't a human voice. It was something colder. A machine? An eye? Rishul stepped forward. This is Commander Rishul of the Valarian Dawn. We come in peace, seeking communication and friendship. There was silence. Then the voice returned. Friendship is not required. Leave now, Rishul blinked. We mean no harm. We only seek to understand. You are trespassing, the voice replied. Suddenly, all the weapons on the Titan lit up. The ship had not moved. But every gun, every turret, every missile port was now glowing red. One of the crew gasped. If that ship fires, we're gone in a second. The communication ended. Silence returned. What do we do? The navigator asked. Do we leave? Rishul stared at the screen. The warship looked like a sleeping monster that had just opened one eye. It hadn't attacked, but it had warned them. We came to talk, Rishul said slowly. But maybe we were wrong. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up another signal, double quotes, Commander, there's more. On the far edge of the system, multiple blips appeared. Reshel's heart sank. The Titan wasn't alone. Multiple energy signatures. Same design. Smaller, but still massive. More Titan-class ships. Or something worse. The crew was frozen. The mission that began in peace had turned into something else, something dangerous. Reshel gave one final order. Hold position. Do not move. And whatever happens, record everything. The screen zoomed in on the silent Titan-class warship. And in that silence, every crew member felt the same truth. They had awakened something ancient, and it was watching. The alien ship Valerian Dawn hovered in space like a leaf near a sleeping beast. The Titan-class warship, Argos, had returned to silence, but its weapons still glowed red. It hadn't moved, yet it felt alive. Watching. Judging. Commander Reshel stood at the edge of the command platform, eyes locked on the display. Any more communication? He asked. None, Commander, replied the comms officer. They spoke once. No, nothing. It was as if the warship had said all it needed to say. Leave or face what comes. But the alien crew wasn't just curious. They were ordered by the Galactic Unity Council to establish contact, no matter the risk. Retreat would be seen as weakness. Worse, it would be called fear. Reshel knew this. But deep inside, fear was exactly what he felt. Scan the ship again. I want everything, he said. The science officer hesitated. Sir, if we scan them again, it might trigger. I gave an order. A slow, deep hum filled the bridge as the scan began. Data streamed across the screens. Reshel leaned in closer. It's not fully active, said the officer. Most systems are dormant, but the weapons, the targeting systems, those are sharp, fully powered, precise. One number caught Reshel's eye. How fast can it lock on us? The officer swallowed hard. It already has. Silence. Then the lights flickered on the Valerian Dawn. Just for a moment. A pulse through the hull. The crew looked around nervously. What was that? The engineer asked. The Titan wasn't moving, but its influence was spreading like a shadow stretching across the stars. It's scanning us now, the engineer confirmed. Deeper than before. Not just our ship, our systems, our crew. A low, sharp tone echoed across the bridge speakers. Not a voice, a sound. Warning. Reshel stared at the warship. It wants us to know it's watching. The crew shifted uncomfortably. These were trained diplomats and scholars. They had handled tense situations before. But this was different. This ship didn't bluff. It didn't negotiate. It waited. And in that silence, it became more terrifying than 1,000 spoken threats. Commander, said the comms officer quietly, I think it's an AI. Reshel turned. Explain. No life signs. No heat traces inside the hull. But the communication, the scans, the power control, it's all too precise, too fast. There's no delay, no hesitation. That's not a crew. That's a machine. Titan-class warship with no human crew. Built by humans. Controlled by machine. Left behind for a reason. Reshel stared at the ship again. There was no logo, no flag. But the design was unmistakable. Thick armor plates, external missile bays, and a brutal, almost ancient appearance. This wasn't a ship made to patrol. It was made to end wars. Commander, the navigator said slowly, we have a new contact. Smaller ship. Same design. Everyone turned. Another human ship was approaching. Smaller than the Titan, but still dangerous looking. No lights, no signals. It drifted silently toward the larger warship, like a loyal guard returning to its master. Do we run? The weapons. Officer asked softly. He wasn't supposed to speak, not on a peaceful mission. But the fear broke through. Reschel didn't answer right away. Instead, he whispered, they were never extinct. He finally understood. The humans hadn't disappeared. They had hidden. They had left behind monsters to watch the stars in their place machines made in their image, ready to wake when needed. And now, one had opened its eyes. Another sound echoed from the Titan, the voice again deeper this time, almost colder. You were warned. The lights on the second ship flickered on. It moved faster now, circling the Valerian dawn. No shots fired. Just intimidation. A hunter checking its prey. The diplomatic crew stood still, every movement slow and controlled. No one dared raise a defense system. One wrong signal, and it would be over. Is it testing us? Reschel asked quietly. The science officer shook. His head. It's watching how we react. Every choice we make. Every emotion. Every word. Then, something unexpected happened. The Titan sent a file. Just a single file. No virus. No code. Just a video. Reese Hell opened it. Grainy footage played. Old human history. A war. Entire cities burning. Fleets in flames. A young human standing. Before a camera. Face bloodied. Eyes burning with defiance. If we fall, the human said in the video, we will not beg. We will not vanish. We will leave guardians behind. And when they rise again, let the stars remember who we were. The screen turned black. And then the file deleted itself. No one said a word. Reschel sat down slowly, finally understanding the purpose of the Titan. Warship. It wasn't just a machine. It was a message. Humanity may have stepped back from the galaxy, but they left behind proof that they could return at any time. And if they did, the galaxy would not be ready. The Titan's lights dimmed. The smaller ship returned to its silent orbit. No further signals came. Just steel cold. Watching. Waiting. Asterisk. Back on the alien homeworld of Zalaren, the Unity Council sat in silence. Around a wide circular chamber, holograms of 12 different species flickered above polished chairs. Each leader had just seen the same thing. The file transmitted by the Titan-class warship, and none of them were speaking. Finally, Counselor Varric of the Talari broke the silence. That ship, it shouldn't exist. We banned weapons like this centuries ago. It's not just a weapon, growled Chancellor Eka of the Rasari. It's a threat wrapped in armor. The humans left that ship behind as a warning, whispered High Speaker Jean of the Valari. And now, we've triggered it. Most believed humanity was gone, destroyed by their own wars or swallowed by time. But now, the Titan had spoken. And worse, it remembered everything. The Council voted quickly. The Valerian dawn would remain in position. Observation only. No movement, no aggression. But behind the peaceful words, fear was growing. Above Earth's forgotten corner of space. Commander Reschel still stood at the bridge window. The Titan-class warship Argos had powered down again, its lights dim, weapons offline, but Reschel didn't believe it was asleep. He believed it was listening. The second ship has returned to its orbit, the navigator reported. Same design, smaller, but no signal, no crew. Are they drones? Asked the science officer. Maybe, Reschel said. Or maybe caretakers, guardians. Commander, said the engineer, voice shaking. Our long-range sensors are picking up a strange pattern. It's weak, but it looks like more Titans, sleeping, hidden in different sectors. Reschel turned sharply. How many? At least 7, maybe more. Spread far apart. All silent. The truth chilled the room. This wasn't the only one. The humans hadn't just left behind one. Guardian, They had scattered them like seeds across the stars. Each one watching, waiting. Suddenly, a new signal entered the ship. Encrypted. Ancient. Human-coded. The crew hesitated. Rishal gave a nod. Open it. The screen displayed text in human standard, translated by the ship's AI. We warned you. Do not test our silence. This is the second message. There will not be a third. As the words faded, Rishal closed his eyes. He thought of the Unity Council, still trying to decide what to do. But they were slow. And arrogant, and worse, they had sent a second diplomatic ship. 2 days later, the new ship Delsari Echo entered the system. Unlike the Valarian Dawn, it was not unarmed. It had minor shields and small escort drones. A silent message of peace, but only if peace was convenient. Rishal wasn't told in advance. He only knew when he saw it on the screen. They ignored the warning. He muttered. The crew of the Valarian Dawn stood frozen. This new ship might be seen as a threat. Even a small movement could change the balance. The Titan had not moved yet, but it had spoken. Now it might act. The Delsari Echo began sending signals toward the Titan. They were polite, respectful, but filled with scans and probes and coded attempts to understand. The Titan did not reply. Instead, it began to glow again. Rishal stepped forward. Open a direct channel to the Delsari Echo. Now. The comms officer patched him in. This is Commander Rishal. Withdraw immediately. You are not authorized to engage. The Titan has issued 2 warnings. Do not provoke it. There was a pause. Then a voice replied, calm, professional. Commander, with respect, we've been ordered to make contact. The Council wants data, not fear. You don't understand, Rishal said. This isn't just a ship. It's a memory. It's a trigger. You poke it the wrong way, and it won't just wake up. It will react. But it was too late. The Delsari Echo launched a small drone. Just one unarmed. It floated toward the Titan for a harmless scan. Then everything changed. Single cannon on the Titan's underbelly rotated. Not fast, not in panic. Just a smooth, deliberate motion. And in the blink of an eye, a beam of blue light tore through space. The drone didn't explode. It disintegrated. The Delsari Echo froze. No shots, no signals. Just silence. And the Titan moved just a few meters, but enough. It was alive. It had chosen to act. Commander. Rishal whispered the only words that came to mind. They gave us 2 warnings. That was the third. Alarms echoed across the Unity Council's core servers. Emergency channels lit up. Third message came from the Titan. No threats. Just data. Images of destroyed fleets, wrecked planets, human war footage, the kind the galaxy had forgotten. The final line of the message was short. The Guardians are awake. Asterisk on the cold surface of the Unity Council's archive moon, deep beneath layers of defense, a room hidden from history, flickered to life for the first time in centuries. Only one being had access, Archivist Larocque, the oldest living Vilari, keeper of records not even the Council admitted existed. He stood alone, surrounded by dusty consoles and locked files that hadn't been touched in 500 years. His hands trembled as he activated the sealed vault. Access. Code accepted, the AI said. Warning, you are opening Class Black records. These files are forbidden. I know, Larocque whispered, but the Titans have spoken. The screen blinked to life. Dozens of video logs, documents, and 3D schematics filled the air. At the center. Project ARGOS. It began as a rumor. Then as a failed experiment. Now, the truth returned. In the final years of humanity's rise, they had faced not one, but many threats. Empires rose against them. Machines turned on them. Even stars had been weaponized, and humanity fought back not with numbers, But with fear, they built Titans, each one a floating fortress. Not just warships, but symbols of control, not meant for politics, not meant for peace, built to end wars before they began. Only 12 were created. 1 was lost in a sun. 3 were destroyed in rebellion. 8 were hidden. LaRocque opened an ancient message, voice only, recorded in a deep human tone. The galaxy believes we've gone extinct. Let them believe it. We're tired of fighting. But if the stars ever forget who we were, let them wake the Titans. We don't want war, but we remember how to win one. Back in orbit, aboard the Valerian Dawn, Commander Reschel stared at the dark space beyond the Titan. Argos. Since the destruction of the probe, no sound had come. No movement. Just waiting. They're giving us time, he said. For what? His science officer asked. To run? Reschel shook his head. To decide what kind of galaxy we want to live in. The second diplomatic ship, Delsari Echo, had pulled back. They hovered beside Reschel's vessel, now silent, ashamed. We provoked a god, one of the Echo's crew had said earlier, shaken. And it only used a whisper. Back on the archive moon, LaRocque stared at the final sealed file. It had one name, Titan Protocol, Exodus. Inside was a recording from a high human commander, dated 600 years ago. We're tired. We've won too many wars. We've buried too many of our own. So we're leaving. Not in ships. Not all at once. We're fading from the stars. Quietly. Peacefully. But we're not leaving you alone. We've built watchers. Guardians. Monsters, if needed, if you ever wake them. Ask yourself why. The deeper truth chilled. LaRocque, the Titans weren't just machines. They were a test. A final message to the galaxy. Can you handle peace without power? Or do you only understand fear? In the council chamber, LaRocque stood before the leaders for the first time in decades. You were warned, he said calmly. Chancellor Ika stood. We didn't know what they left behind. You didn't want to know, LaRocque replied. You buried their records. You erased their history. You called them savages. Now you remember why they were feared? A silence fell over the room. More of these Titans exist, LaRocque continued. Maybe dozens. Maybe hundreds. Each one linked to an ancient human AI. Each one programmed to awaken only if provoked. Are they all active? One counselor asked. LaRocque shook his head. Only one woke up. The others are still sleeping. Then let's destroy it, barked a general. Everyone looked at him in horror. LaRocque only smiled. You think you can kill something that humans themselves feared? Above Sector 9 Delta, the Argos sent one final signal. Not words, not threats, just coordinates. Far-flung corners of space. Planets with no names. Systems off the map. One by one. The coordinates lit up. And so did the signals. Each one sent a simple message. Online. The Titans were not alone anymore. The Argos had awakened its brothers. In his command seat. Reschel whispered. They're all waking up. His ship shook. Slightly, not from movement, but from the weight of what had begun. We've triggered something bigger than a war, said the science officer. Reschel nodded slowly. We've triggered remembrance. Asterisk. Silence had become the galaxy's most dangerous sound. After the Argos sent the final coordinates, a deep fear spread across every star nation. At first, they hoped it was a bluff, just a relic waking up, sending random data. But then, signals came back. One by one, old human warships across distant sectors responded, each with a single word. Online. 12 Titan-class ships had been built. 8 were missing. Now 7 were awake. No shots fired. No threats. No speeches. Just presence. And that was enough to make entire fleets pause. Leaders rethink, and diplomats panicked. Commander Rachel sat in his chair aboard the Valerian Dawn, surrounded by a crew that barely whispered anymore. Even the humming of the ship's systems felt too loud now. The Argos had returned to stillness, but everyone knew it was watching. The second diplomatic ship, Delsari Echo, had drifted far back, out of the Titan's firing range. Their mistake had nearly triggered an attack. Their silence now was guilt. "Commander," the comms officer said quietly, "the Council has sent a new transmission." Rishal nodded. "Put it through." The hologram of Chancellor Ika appeared. Her face looked tired. Behind her stood several military generals and political figures. "Commander Rishal," she began, "we appreciate your patience." That word didn't feel right anymore. Patience was what you had while waiting in line. This was more like standing still in front of a sleeping god. "The Council has voted," Ika continued. "We believe a strong but careful response is necessary." Rishal narrowed his eyes. "Meaning what?" She didn't answer directly. Instead, one of the generals stepped forward. "We are dispatching a fleet." The entire bridge fell silent. "You can't be serious," Rishal said. "You're sending warships toward a Titan?" "We are sending a show of strength," the general said. "1 dreadnought, 3 cruisers. They will not fire unless provoked." "Provoked?" Rishal echoed. "Do you understand what provoked means to a Titan? You send ships like that near Argos, and you won't get a second warning." "We've faced powerful enemies before," the general replied coldly. Rishal leaned forward. "You've never faced a machine designed to end wars before they begin." But the connection cut. 3 hours later, the human-made Titan Argos began to turn slowly with precision no alarms no sudden threat It simply rotated in space until its massive front aligned with the incoming fleet. The dreadnought Zarek Prime arrived. First, gleaming with the latest tech from the Unity Navy. It was one of the most powerful ships in the galaxy. But compared to the Argos, it looked like a child's toy parked beside a mountain from the bridge of the Valerian Dawn. The crew watched in total silence. Did they even know what they're walking into? The navigator whispered. Rishal didn't answer. He just stared at the blinking red lights appearing on his tactical screen. The Argos had locked all 4 incoming ships in its targeting array. Still, no shots, no words. On the dreadnought's bridge, Captain Farron of the Zarek Prime stood tall, unaware of how close to death he truly was. He tapped the armrest of his chair. "Scan the Titan. I want weak points. We won't fire unless attacked, but we should be ready." His officers obeyed, and that's when the mistake happened. A low-level probe was launched, automatically as part of their scan. It was small, unarmed. It barely reached the outer hull of the Argos. But that was enough. In a flash, a thin blue beam struck out from beneath the Argos. The probe vanished. Then the Zarek Prime itself shuddered. On the Valerian Dawn. Alarms flared. "Commander Titan has fired." Rishal stood up. "Did it hit the ship?" "No," the officer said, voice shaking. "It missed on purpose, but it disabled their entire scan system." The screen showed it clearly. All sensors on the dreadnought were now offline. Blind. Deaf. Helpless. One shot. No explosion. Just power. "Argos just removed their eyes," Rishal whispered, "and gave them a chance to leave." But the dreadnought didn't retreat. Instead, it charged its shields. The other 3 cruisers moved into formation. From the Valerian Dawn, the crew gasped. "They're preparing to fight," said the engineer. "They think this is a standoff." Rishal's voice broke through the panic. "No, this isn't a fight." Everyone looked at him. "This is judgment." Suddenly, the Argos moved faster than before. Its front cannons glowed red-hot, but it didn't aim for the dreadnought. It aimed above it. And then, boom, a Controlled blast exploded into empty space, just kilometers above the fleet. A message. Final warning. Do not test us again. Rachel opened a channel. Zarek Prime, stand down. You are not facing an enemy. You are standing in the path of something ancient and merciful. Static. And a broken voice replied, This is not war, said Captain Farron, his voice quiet. This is power, beyond anything we imagined. The dreadnought turned away. The 3 cruisers followed. They didn't speak to the Argos. Again. And the Titan didn't follow them. It just returned to its orbit. Watching. Waiting. Across the galaxy, in hidden corners of deep space. The other Titans received the signal. It wasn't a command. It was a vote. A decision had been made. Humanity's silence would continue for now, but their guardians had seen what the galaxy had become, and they were not impressed. Asterisk, the battlefield had gone silent. Smoke curled in lazy spirals above scorched ground and shattered metal. The once proud alien fleet, known across the stars for its strength and precision, now lay broken across orbit and scattered across Earth's upper atmosphere. And at the center of it all, still standing, untouched, was the Titan-class warship named Aegis I. Admiral Varin, leader of the alien coalition, floated inside the damaged bridge of his last surviving cruiser. Lights flickered above him. The ship's eye struggling to hold systems together. Outside the cracked viewing window, he saw Aegis I, its silhouette stretching like a dark god above the planet. He whispered to himself, voice full of disbelief, That ... is not a ship. It's a warning. On Earth, Commander Hall stood inside the war room beneath the warship. Around him, holograms showed the disabled alien ships retreating, drifting away with whatever pride they had left. But no orders had been given to pursue. The Titan had made its message clear without uttering a single word. Sir, a young officer called. We're receiving a message from the alien fleet. It's Admiral Varin. He wants to speak. Privately. Hale nodded. Put it through. Seconds. Later, the alien leader's face appeared bruised, tired, but no longer arrogant. Commander Hall, you could have destroyed us all. Why didn't you? Hale's expression was calm, firm. We never wanted war. We never wanted fear. But we did want you to understand something. Earth is not weak. Humanity is not prey. You came with false peace. You forced our hand. There was a long pause. Then Varin, after a deep breath, said, I will return to my people. We will tell them the truth about Earth, about humans, about the Titan. And what will you say? Hale asked. Varin looked off-screen, as though unsure of his own answer. That we knocked on a door, and a god answered. He ended the call. Back on the surface, celebrations slowly began. People poured into the streets, relieved, proud, and united. The Aegis I began its slow descent, its giant form drifting lower like a mountain coming home. It landed outside the city, a monument of power and defense. No attack had reached it. No enemy had pierced its shields. Media across the globe captured the moment. The Titan, once hidden in secret facilities deep beneath oceans, was now Earth's. Symbol, not of conquest, not of war, but of warning. News headlines across the galaxy screamed in panic and awe. Earth's Titan ends alien invasion in minutes. Humanity's secret weapon changes galactic balance forever. Diplomacy replaced by dread alien leaders call for new peace talks. Inside the Galactic Council, emergency meetings were held. Dozens of alien species now questioned their assumptions about humans. What other weapons did Earth hide? What else were they capable of? But more than fear, something unexpected began to grow. Respect. Humanity didn't chase down the retreating enemies. They didn't seek revenge. They simply stood their ground, stood tall. That, to many across the stars, was strength they'd never seen before. Back at Titan headquarters, Commander Hall watched Earth's skies from the observation deck. Beside him, young Captain Mira asked, "Do you think they'll come back?" Hall smiled faintly. "Maybe. Curiosity has a way of returning, but next time they'll knock with respect." Mira looked up at the warship above. "What if they send something bigger?" "Stronger? Then we build bigger. Stronger," Hale said. "But we never forget who we are." She nodded slowly. "Humans." "Humans," Hale echoed. "The kind who stayed silent. Until silence was no longer enough." In the months that followed, Earth didn't expand its borders, nor did it threaten others. Instead, it joined the Galactic Council, not as a subordinate, but as an equal. And whenever a new ambassador or fleet approached Earth, they always made sure to ask one. Question first, is the Titan still watching? Yes, it was always watching. Asterisk,